So we have a YouTube channel and we also have a Facebook page. And so we're maintaining both. So we have grown the Facebook page pretty well, and now I guess this is like a perfect storm. We'll just I'll kind of move this onto live on YouTube real quick. So here we are live with Steve and Susan here. Let's say hi to everybody.
Hey guys, how are you doing? How's everybody out there?
Glad to be here tonight with y'all.
Yeah, so really happy to have you guys. And every Monday we have a real estate talk, and part of what we do is we invite the local market leaders and the practitioners that are doing business on the market, and we're gonna do a quick interview with them to learn more about their business and also kind of get inspired. So tonight we have Steve and Susan. Could you tell us a little bit about your story? You know, how you guys started back in the days?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we started actually buying some rental properties back in 2002. Now, I will clarify that by saying we thought we knew what we were doing, but we really didn't have a clue. But we thought it was good to buy rental properties. And so from 2002 until about 2005, we picked up, I want to say, 5 single-family houses, maybe 6. And then 2008 and 2009 rolled around, and we thought that we were going to be just geniuses, and we were going to get into some commercial properties. So we bought an 8-unit apartment. Then we bought, that was in 2008. And in 2009, when the economy was just on fire, right? We bought a 10-unit apartment.
But we didn't even know it wasn't on fire.
No,
we didn't realize you needed to know that.
Right. So we thought we knew a lot more than we did. And but I will say that today we still have the 8-unit. Fortunately, we were able to get out of the 10-unit years ago, not without a lot of pain involved in the process. And then we really didn't know what we were doing until about 2012. And we actually went to a national seminar, a group coming through town. And that was the first time we ever heard about wholesaling. And, we had rehabbed the properties that we had, but we really didn't know what rehabbing was. So it really opened our eyes to a whole different world out there. Now, I will say from 2012 to 2013, as we were learning all this stuff and spending a lot of money, we didn't do one deal. We tried.
Spending money on education.
On education, marketing, and the things that we are supposed to spend money on. But we went a whole year without doing a deal. And, it was basically, we knew that the process worked. We felt the process worked. We knew that we didn't have a clue what we were doing. Then I guess it was 2013, we got a mentor. And that's when things really started to change. They really opened our eyes to commitment, to consistency in marketing. A lot of the things that we were doing really, half-assed basically up until then. And that was when things changed. And we started getting deals. We started, in the beginning we wholesaled. That's all we did. Then slowly we moved our way into wholesaling and rehabbing. And then after that, we moved our way into wholesaling, rehabbing, and starting to buy rental properties. So that was kind of a very broad overview of our beginnings.
Wow, fantastic. So you guys started doing that, and your main business is wholesaling.
It started out that way.
But not anymore.
Yeah, I think we've wholesaled 3 deals this year. So we actually wholesale very few properties now. I'm not opposed to it. I think it's a fantastic model to do. But based on where we are in today's world, we close on 97, 98% of all of our deals. And then if we're going to sell them, we are selling back to the retail market in one form or another.
Sure.
You know, the word flipping is a very broad word. Flipping is, you know, sometimes we do full rehab, sometimes we do very little work and are still able to turn the property around and list it on the market and sell it back to the retail market, who doesn't know the market like we do, they don't think like we do. We just have to think like they do so we can move the property when we get to that point doing that.
And they don't have the accesses and the knowledge that we have to do it the way we do it.
Right.
That's why.
Right. So you're finding those discrepancies on the market. So you guys started in wholesale, and now you are doing a little more on kind of the flipping side. That's
yeah. A lot of flipping, a lot of buy and holds.
Yeah, pretty equal on the flipping and buying holds.
Right.
Buy and holds now.
And now we're venturing more into owner finance, and we're starting to look at buying notes, and you know, just as you grow, you do different things.
Yeah, and I would say that most investors would like to start moving to more and more passive as well.
So yes, I would agree. I mean, passive is, you know, we're in a very evolving market right now, and passive is very good. We love passive, but people need to understand, which I don't think is taught very much, but people need to understand that when you start buying passive properties for rental, you're not going to make a lot of money in the beginning. To make money, you've got to have a lot of properties. And if you're okay with that and you understand the process, excuse me, that's totally fine. And that's what you should be doing. But it's not something you're going to make a lot of money off of out of the gate.
Right, unless you have all paid off properties. But in order to grow quickly, we are using the power of money and other people's money to leverage so we can, grow our portfolio. But like Steve said, that means, it's a slower. We're building it right now. It's not like it's generating tons and tons of income yet.
Right, you're building the wealth, and yes. Real estate is a get rich slow kind of game. And so
it's very get rich slow. Yeah. There's not get rich fast in this at all.
Right.
For people that think that, if you think that, you're in the wrong game. It doesn't work that way.
Right, it's a get rich slow, and time is your friend.
Time is definitely your friend. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So let me ask you guys this. You guys have done a lot of investments.
Yes, we have.
What is the best or the most return in terms of investment that you've made? What would you say?
Oh, go ahead and finish your question.
Oh yeah. I was just saying that what would you say that would be? What investment would you say is the most worthwhile?
Well, we thought about this a little bit, and really the best investment that we've made has been the investment in ourselves. Once we got a coach that really knew what we wanted, and we knew what we wanted, it wasn't even so much that our coach knew what we wanted. It was more that we knew what we wanted. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, it was making a commitment to ourselves of what we wanted to accomplish, putting a plan in place and following the plan, not varying from the plan. Because in the beginning, that was part of the reason we didn't have success in the beginning is, there's lots of shiny objects out there. And if you go to networking events all over town, no matter what town you're in, there's going to be shiny object syndrome. And for us, it was, in the beginning, well, let's start wholesaling. Well, after a couple months, that wasn't working too well. Well, let's try flipping houses. Well, that wasn't working too well. At that point, we didn't want to buy any more rental properties because
we'd already done that.
We'd already done that, and we didn't think it was that great. So,
we don't want to be landlords.
So once we got to the point where we committed to what we wanted. We actually put a plan in place. What were our goals? Where did we want to be in the next 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, so on and so forth. once we knew what we wanted to accomplish, then we actually put a plan in place on paper, and then we started following the plan. Once we started following that plan, we actually started having success. It was amazing. And for someone who, you know, for myself, you know, I was in corporate America I put my 30 plus years in upper management. You know, I thought I was a pretty sharp person, and I was as an employee, but I really sucked at being an entrepreneur in the beginning. I didn't know what that was. And fortunately, we were able to figure that out. Now, I figured that out through having a coach. I figured that out through my employer for the company I work for was an unbelievable entrepreneur. And I know that most people will never have this, but I was very fortunate in the fact that the owner of the company that I work for in corporate America was actually very supportive of me as an entrepreneur and being a real estate investor. And he actually pushed me slowly out the door to go do what I needed to do, which was unbelievable to have that kind of support in a corporate world. Correct. But that's because he's such a fantastic entrepreneur himself. And he understood, he got what I didn't get long before I got it. And so, you know, that was huge for us. That was very, very big.
Yeah, and we touch a couple of points here. You know, the employee mindset versus a business owner is vastly different.
Yes.
And the sooner we learn that, I think the quicker we can get things going faster.
Yes.
I would agree. Yes. I would agree 100%. Yes.
So so what would be your favorite failure or the favorite mistake that you guys would like to share?
Well, it's a favorite mistake now. At the time, it was a very painful mistake. But I had mentioned earlier that, you know, in 2008, we had bought an 8-unit apartment. And in 2009, we bought a 10-unit apartment. Well, I got to tell you, that 10-unit was really painful because we really didn't know what we were doing when we bought it. So we bought it obviously higher than we should have. Mm-hmm. And this property had lots of problems from a maintenance standpoint, from a deferred maintenance standpoint, from a tenant standpoint,
from our management,
from a management standpoint. I mean,
not our management, but our management company.
The management company we'd hired
ultimately was our fault.
Yes. So
they should have been fired a lot sooner than they were.
but we were afraid to fire them because we didn't know.
We didn't know anybody else either.
And at the time we were still in corporate America. Thank God we were still in corporate America, and we made good salaries. So we owned this property. We bought it in 2009, and I think we finally dumped it in 2012. Mm-hmm. So over that period of time, just about every month, we had to put money into that property out of our pocket.
Yeah, we had to fund our accounts to pay our note.
and if it wasn't that, it was maintenance. It was one thing after another. And then but I will say, a payment to our lender was never late. Our lenders were always taken care of, and if it was a maintenance issue, our tenants were always taken care of.
Yeah.
That came number one to us no matter what.
And the lender never knew we were losing money.
Never had a
because our note was paid on time. It wasn't their concern.
Right.
They got their money.
So finally in 2012, we were able to find an investor to dump this property to. And we actually brought an additional $20,000 to the closing table to close. And I've got to say, it was probably the happiest day of my life because the headache was finally gone.
Even though it cost us all that money, it was, it was like stop the bleeding.
Yeah, it was.
Even though we had to bring the money to close, at least we were stopping having to put in money every month and stress over it. So yeah, it was a hard lesson learned.
Oh yeah. So over that 3-year period of time, 3.5 years, whatever it was, between our down payment, all the maintenance problems, making sure the mortgages were paying, bringing money to the closing table, we lost about $125,000.
Wow.
And it hurt really bad. And I have to say that I had to lay down and lick my wounds for a while.
Sure.
We figured we were not good at real estate.
Well, at that point, I said I will never do another real estate deal again. And every rental property I had at that point, I wanted to get rid of. But because of the market at that point, I couldn't just up and get rid of my properties without losing money on all of them. And actually, all the houses we had were making money. They were doing fine. So it would have been foolish to try and dump those at that point. And then Susan heard about a seminar from a national company, like I'd mentioned. Mm-hmm. And, we went to that, and that kind of really changed our outlook, even though we still failed for another year after that. But it made us, it really opened our eyes to what the potential was that was out there. And we knew also at that point that 10 unit, that was nobody's fault but our own. Nobody screwed that up but us. And so I knew that there might be hope out there somewhere. and so that was that was our biggest failure that as of today is actually one of our biggest inspirations. And I can honestly say that we've never made a mistake again.
So what would you say is the biggest takeaway from the apartment? Well,
for me, the biggest takeaway would be that even though we totally screwed the pooch on that one, we knew that we knew it wasn't the process. We knew it was mistakes that we made. And we never gave up. Mm-hmm. We still knew that there was something out there for us. There was a better life for us. In my corporate life, I mean, I had a very high position at my company. I made a really great salary. I had all the medical benefits and vacation, everything everybody wants. But the thought that kept coming to my mind was, I knew at the end of that career, there was no pot of gold sitting there waiting for me.
Right.
And that actually scared me more. So it certainly inspired me to do something and actually figure out what I was doing wrong to change what I was doing so we could have success in this business.
Correct. And I would say that there's just so many lessons learned within those years, because you know what happened in all those years trying to manage the apartment is that you were paying also in your time, and that's your tuition.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Which is not the best way to spend your money, but it's not the most effective way to get your education.
Correct.
As we, learned after the fact.
Well, but the thing about being an entrepreneur that we learned, changing that mindset from being an employee is actually, as an employee, if you fail, you get fired. As an entrepreneur, failure is what takes you to the next level of having success. And once we finally understood that and got that was also a big game changer for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the ability to experiment.
Yes.
A little bit fail small and fail frequently, so you can learn all those lessons. That has always been that guiding light.
Yep. And we also are of the belief and mindset that you any investor should invest in their education, and better to invest in like coaching type education than the failure type education.
Oh yeah.
Learn from others' mistakes.
Learn from our mistakes, not your mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the School of Hard Knocks is a very expensive one.
It is.
It's expensive and it's painful, and it's a lot.
None of us plan it that way, but sometimes you end up that way. But
yes, absolutely. Every day we're still learning. There are folks that we want to surround ourselves with. And learn from their mistakes, but there are always mistakes to be made. And
yes, when we still make a few, and we're still learning all the time. We learn from other people all the time,
Every
still,
day, every day
and we
we learn.
learn from ourselves also,
Yeah.
and our experiences and what we do.
And we're not perfect by any means. We still come across deals that we make mistakes on. I mean, that's part of it. We just try to minimize the mistakes very low and have many more successes. But every year there's going to be a property or two or three that just kind of goes south for whatever reason, and you just have to nail it in the butt as quick as you can and move on to the next one. I mean, that's part of being a business owner, an entrepreneur. It's part of the process.
Yeah, and I think being surrounded by and networking with folks that have a lot of these war stories is also very important as well, because we can always I think a lot of times we try to touch base with the market leaders that we know, maybe every quarter, every 6 months, and within those time frame we always go, oh yeah, here are what's new, and here are all the new things that we have learned.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. We are very, very big on networking. We have a large group of support around us. A lot of friends that have been in the business years longer than us, and they even though they may not know they're our mentors, they are our mentors to this day. And we try to stay very in tune, and we try to give back our knowledge now of the mistakes we've made so others don't make the same mistake.
Yeah. So please tell us about the networking group that you guys are hosting. Stephen and Susan, you guys are big with marketing. So and networking. So what are you guys trying to do with the Wealth Club? Tell us about the Wealth Club.
Well, the Wealth Club, the Wealth Club has been around for about 17 years now.
Oh wow!
And we were members of the Wealth Club since 2012, and then we had a wonderful opportunity to buy the Wealth Club last year, January of last year. So we've owned the Wealth Club for almost a year now. We're about a month away from that, and it's it's about giving back to our investors, investors helping investors, good education. With the Wealth Club, while we were members for all those years, we bought and sold many deals just through networking at the Wealth Club. We raised millions of dollars right there with the Wealth Club. And then we like I said, we were presented a fantastic opportunity to buy the Wealth Club, and so we accepted that challenge. And so we're continuing that whole mindset of investors helping investors. That is our motto. We stand strong by it. We advertise that. And so, but what we've started doing with the Wealth Club, in addition to just having our monthly meeting, we've announced this at our past meeting. We're now actually starting a couple coaching programs. Something that I've personally pushed back from for the past couple of years, just because I've helped other groups in coaching, and it can be difficult. And do I want to be a guru? Not in any way, shape, or form. But we have a lot to offer and a lot to help people because of the things we've done with the successes and the mistakes. Mm-hmm. And so through talking with my mentors, they said, you need to do this. And so that's what started us with putting together some programs. So what we are doing right now is we're actually in the middle of shooting. We're doing a complete video series on how to go out and, set your whys, set your goals, marketing, putting a plan together all the way through the entire transaction, where you can go out and actually do deals and do them the right way. Negotiating, analyzing your deals, it's everything we could think of. I took 3 months sitting down and taking everything I had in my head and putting it on paper. That was by far the hardest part. Then putting it in an order where people could understand. And now we're actually shooting videos. We've actually hired a production company who's shooting videos. And we're getting close to the end of where we'll have all the videos done. But with that, I also decided to start some personal coaching, one-on-one coaching. Now, I'm only taking on a very small group of people to do this with, because we still flip a lot of houses. We're still buying rental houses, so we still have very active in companies that we're running. But I think that I can really help some people. And like I said, I've done coaching in the past where I wasn't charging for it, and I bought tons of deals from people. So now we're putting it into an actual format where we can actually move forward with it. And the Wealth Club has actually given us that platform to do that. And we're just thrilled to be able to offer that now in a good formatted system to make it happen, and not only give us more success and satisfaction and give back to what all the things that people have given to us. So we're really excited about it.
Right, you can share the processes that you guys put together, and all all the stories, all the war stories.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because we do that. We talk about that a lot at our meetings, because we don't, we talk about successes because you've got to do that, and people want to hear that. But the reality is we really learn from the mistakes that we made, and we're not afraid to share the mistakes. We do case studies on deals that we did, and we'll have a success story on a case study, and then we'll show a failure on a case study and explain what happened to make the deal go bad. And I'm not afraid to show where, hey, we actually lost money on this deal, because that's where the real lessons comes from.
Yeah, and I love the case studies a lot, because it's just like a part of business school. You study all the cases and you go, hey, this is what we learned. This is what we learned. This is the right thing to do. These are the things that you shouldn't do. So those are
That's right.
Fantastic lessons. Cool. So our time is almost up. What is the best way that people can get in touch with you guys?
Well, they can get in touch with us several ways. If you want to call us, that's great. You can give us a call at 713-644-3500. If you want to email us for any questions, you can email us at support@thewealthclub.org. If you want to check us out on our website, thewealthclub.org, we post all of our events. We post all kinds of videos. We have our Motivational Monday. Anything that you want to know about us is on there. And then you can also like us on Facebook at The Wealth Club. Right, is that right?
Right.
I don't know the Facebook thing too well, so I'm asking.
I think it's Wealth Club Houston.
Yeah. We're going to post this video and link you guys as well. So we're going to be connected here, you guys. If you're getting this on Facebook, we're going to be tagging the Wealth Club.
Yes.
Oh,
and we will share it.
And we will share it out to everybody, yes.
And also on our website, anyone who likes, go ahead and sign up for our mailing list so you can get all our emails and find out what's going on. Keep apprised of our activities.
Thank you so much, Steve and Susan, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate
We enjoyed it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Goodbye.